Oftentimes, when you're rear-ended in an accident, you will think to yourself, hey, this is a no-brainer. The person behind me hit me. I did nothing wrong. They're responsible. Normally, that's the case. I would say 9 times out of 10 in Texas. But there are certain circumstances when people get hit from behind and the liability or the responsibility on behalf of the person who hit you isn't crystal clear. If you're involved in a rear-end collision or a rear-end accident, the first thing you want to do when you're there, assuming you're okay to talk to the person who hit you, is to make sure you establish liability, which is establishing that they are responsible and making sure there's a police report. Tell the police your version of the facts and make sure the police understands that you were doing nothing wrong and you were simply hit from behind. Now, rear-end accidents typically turn into a damage-only situation, so you've got to make sure you get the best medical care you can possibly get, and you got to make sure you try to get yourself back into the best health possible. But there are certain things that need to be investigated. Our firm has investigators that will investigate this for you. But if you are hit from behind, you always want to ask yourself, why did they hit you? Because most people that hit you from behind hit you because they're distracted. Were they on their phone? Were they talking on the phone? Or were they texting with somebody? Were they looking at something on the side of the road? Or were they intoxicated? These are all questions that your lawyer needs to investigate to maximize the value of your rear-end collision. Once you've established liability and once you've established why they were distracted, you've got to make sure you get the best medical care you can possibly get. If you need to go to the ER the day of the accident, you should certainly go. And you should certainly follow up with a doctor immediately. And you've got to report all your injuries to that doctor so they can document it, because when you present your claim to the insurance company, to the person who hit you, you've got to make sure you report all injuries, everything that affected you because of that rear-end collision. You don't want to get into a situation where the insurance company claims that you went to the ER and you only reported neck pain, but now you're reporting back pain 2 days later. That's real. It's pretty typical because most people have so much adrenaline going through their system after an accident that they don't feel all the pain, but do your very best to report everything you can. If you feel like you need a lawyer to handle your claim, you need to contact a lawyer immediately. Talk to your lawyer and make sure you get the best medical care you can to get a full workup and you can fully heal for all your injuries. If you go to your primary care doctor, they may not be experienced in treating accident injuries, and they may not want to treat you for your injuries because they don't want to be involved in the litigation process. Now, your lawyer is going to help you get compensation for your pain and suffering, the time you missed from work, and the inconveniences you've had in your life because of the collision. The best way for your lawyer to do that is to have good, detailed information from you on how your life has changed. For example, if you used to go to the gym for 3 or 4 days, 3 or 4 days a week, and now you only go 2 days a week because you're in too much pain when you're working out, you've got to write that down and you've got to tell your lawyer. Because if they have specific instances where you've exhibited pain and suffering, they will present that to the insurance company and maximize the value of your claim. Also, if you miss work for a doctor's appointment, or you miss work because you're too hurt to go to work, you've got to document that in a journal so your lawyer can present that to the other side. It's not enough these days just to say, hey, this has changed my life forever and I'm in so much pain and I can't work anymore. You can't do that. Your lawyer's going to have to help you create proof that you've actually suffered and you've missed work. So the best way for you to do that is to keep a journal of what's happened, and you can talk about all the things that are different in your life today that you could do before. And it's not, you can't say, hey, I used to run 10 miles and I can't run 10 miles anymore, because most of the time you probably can do something, you just can't do it as well as you used to do. So you need to do a good job of really writing down the differences. And the more differences you have of what you could do before the accident and what you can't do now, that helps your pain and suffering claim, and that will help your lawyer maximize the value of your claim. So once your lawyer has a clear understanding of how your rear-end accident happened, and he has a clear understanding of what happened to you medically and what is required for you medically in the future, your lawyer can prepare the process of filing your lawsuit and getting you the most money possible for your injuries. But it's important to have liability, which is determining who's at fault, and having the best medical care and the best medical workup possible to maximize the value of your case. If you have any questions about this, you can post them in the comment section below or give us a call at 1-800-99-FITS. That's 1-800-99-FITS.